And so I remember back in the day when I was still at St. Augustine Seminary, studying to be a priest, talking to a fellow seminarian who was in turn talking about his own aunt who was dying. And so basically, as he tells the story, my friend was praying for the longest time that his aunt might be healed, his aunt who had been sick for a really long time. And so a really good and noble prayer to pray for the healing of our loved ones. But then as time progressed and he kind of prayed into the matter, he realized that the Lord was telling him that basically his aunt's time had come, as a result of which he changed his prayer. And so from that point on, instead of focusing on healing and restoration, he started praying for acceptance. He started praying for comfort. He started praying for consolation. Lord, give me and my family the grace and the courage and the strength to accept this difficult thing, the impending loss of someone that we love really dearly. And on top of that, give this person comfort and consolation as she enters into her final days and her final moments. And might suggest, friends, that's a really good example of a mature way to pray and to relate to God in general, to defer always to His will as opposed to insisting that my will be done. But hopefully on top of that, you can see through this particular example that the stuff we're talking about today doesn't simply apply to the season of Lent, but is meant actually to carry forward with us throughout the course of our lives. And in particular, we're called to remember and to reflect deeply on the fact that holiness is never our project. Holiness is never something that we simply produce through our collective prayer and fasting and almsgiving, but instead it is always God's project. We should always be able to look back on our lives and say, like, look, the Lord is the one who made us into the person that God was always calling us to be, as opposed to, this is something that I did through my own efforts and ingenuity. And what this means, practically speaking, is that when you go forth and you live your life, certainly try your best to engage your mind and your intellect to make good and noble plans, some variation of the prayer and the fasting and the almsgiving. But at the same time, don't be surprised and don't be scandalized when sometimes these plans are frustrated, when these plans are sometimes even brought to ruin. Because the point still remains, all things work together for the good for those who love the Lord. And the Lord is using even these frustrated plans to bring about His salvific designs.